Coverage you can count on continues with WUTR, Channel 20 News at 5:30.
Straight ahead, her son died of cancer. Now one local mother is making it her mission to fight the deadly disease.
And he's known what he's wanted to do when he grew up since he was just 8 years old. Now, 13 years later, it's his first day on the job. These stories and more straight ahead on WUTR Channel 20 at 5:30. Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve McMurray.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Lisa Spitz.
It's Utica Transit Appreciation Day, and if taking the bus doesn't sound like your idea of a dream come true,
well, you may want to think again. Our Anna Crowley has a story.
At 8 years old, Jeffrey Larkin liked buses. In fact, he had dreams of becoming a bus driver. So he faithfully rode the local loops, memorized every stop and turn, so that when he was old enough, he'd be ready.
You know, at 8 years old, many of us have dreams about what we'll be when we grow up. But it's not that often that those dreams become reality.
But today is one of those rare days in life when dreams do come true. Jeffrey Larkin is 21 now, and today is his first day as a Utica bus driver.
Feels great. Feels great to finally be a part of this organization.
And while most young people celebrate their 21st birthday by having a legal beer, you could find Jeffrey at the DMV, finally old enough to get his bus permit.
It was just one of those childhood dreams that didn't go away.
But as fascinated as Jeffrey is with buses, for him this is also about the people he so looked up to as a boy, finally becoming his colleagues.
It's just exciting to finally just be working here and, you know, be surrounded by all the drivers I've known since I was a kid. You know, to actually work with them now.
And for all the other young dreamers out there, Jeffrey would like to offer up his example that sometimes dreams do become reality. In Utica, Anna Crowley, WUTR, Channel 20 News.
Of course, congratulations to him, and be sure to keep an eye out for Jeffrey.
that's right. His first route is the Riverside Mall Loop. So he had his dream and it came true. Good
Very
for
good.
him. Well, in other news, 9 people are homeless after fire rips in East Utica. The blaze broke out just before 1 o'clock this afternoon. Firefighters first on the scene reported smoke and flames coming from the back of the building. The second floor appears to have suffered extensive fire damage, while the rest of the building sustained heavy smoke and water damage. Investigation into the cause of the fire continues. The victims are being assisted by the Utica chapter of the American Red Cross.
The American Red Cross, meanwhile, is reworking some of its policies, specifically on its fundraising program. After September 11th, controversy surrounded the organization because those that donated felt the Red Cross was not using that money for what it was intended for. Tonight, 4 major changes are in the works. First, the Red Cross is now encouraging undesignated donations,
which is going to allow us to provide immediate assistance to anyone affected by a disaster without having it just having people just help one family over another family. It'll be across the board, so we can be there to help everybody.
And so say for instance this fire that we just had, how can someone...
And coming up new at 6 o'clock tonight, we'll go in depth on the other 3 changes, including what you as a possible donor can expect when you donate.
If you're thinking about a trip to the Big Apple, you might want to take advantage of the state's tax holidays. Governor Pataki has announced that Sunday will begin the first of 3 sales tax exemption periods for Lower Manhattan. From Sunday through Tuesday, the 8% state and local taxes will be eliminated on most merchandise, food, drinks, hotel, and entertainment charges. The other 3-day tax holidays are in July and August. Well, tonight we continue our special series, The Stories Behind Relay for Life. One of this year's volunteers for the event is Debbie Burton of Clark Mills.
She's trying to raise money for research, specifically for childhood cancers. It's a disease that took the life of her own son. Wow, is that's your trip?
This was the very first page that I did when I was in North Carolina.
Memory scrapbooking is therapy for Debbie Burton. The hobby started when her son Timmy was fighting cancer.
When Timmy was 3.5 years old, he started throwing up and, just having a little bit of balance problems. We weren't quite sure what was going on, but very quickly we discovered that he had a brain tumor, and he had a cancer called medulloblastoma, which was on his brain stem.
Difficult news for any parent to hear, but at the time Debbie was 7 months pregnant. Timmy had surgery and underwent chemotherapy. The cancer went into surgical remission for 17 months. During that time, Timmy attended his baby brother Ryan's first birthday party. For the first time, Debbie watches video of the event.
Timmy was very gentle. He was a very gentle, loving child. He was very sweet to his brother, an older brother that would actually hand his toys over to his younger brother.
A trip to Disney World soon followed.
At that point, we thought he was fine. We thought he was going to end up being okay. We didn't know when we got to Duke University that the cancer had just gotten crazy.
Less than 2 months later, Timmy died. He was 5 years old. His memory is now being preserved so that 5-year-old Ryan Burton grows up understanding he once had a brother who, when he was dying from cancer, never once complained.
A day does not go by that I don't think it's him. And some people might say, oh, 4 years, that's so long. But in one way, it's very long. In another way, it's very short. Once you lose a child, after a few years, the reality that you're really not going to see him again for a really long time sets in. Every single day is very, very long without Timmy. Every day.
And this is the 4th year Debbie will participate in Relay for Life. In the past, she's been on the planning committee and headed up the team, Timmy's teammates.
And be sure to tune in tomorrow. We'll have another personal story of how cancer has touched our community. We'll still ahead on WUTR Channel 20 at 5:30. Mike Cameron will be in with his complete Storm Team forecast.
And in sports, the New York Rangers have their new head coach, and he used to play for their arch rival. Chris Watson will have the details later in sports.
But first, despite recent census numbers, one local community continues to grow one tree at a time. We'll explain next.
You're watching WUTR, Channel 20 News at 5:30. Coverage you can count on for Utica and the entire Mohawk Valley.
We have more local news for you now at 5:40. New Hartford residents, lawmakers, and school children filled the Village Green today to celebrate. It's their 20th year as an official tree city. But what does it take to be a city of trees? Well, New Hartford plants more than 60 trees a year. And New Hartford is not only filled with lush greenery, the town has also beautified city streets by hanging flowers from every street lamp.
What makes local economies strong? Well, according to Rome Mayor Joe Griffo, it's diversification and growth. It's an idea he's willing to put grants toward. Today, Rome business Artronics received a $10,000 grant to help them pay for their own expansion. They'll use the money to help pay for 2 new positions at the factory.
I mean, the key to success is economic diversification. Without that, I mean, our economy for all too long in this area has been reliant on one particular segment of the economy. We were a mill town in Rome for a long time, then they became a military town. So I think when the base was realigned, I think it really sent a message that we were articulating that we need to diversify.
Artronics makes custom cables for everything from subway cars to high-tech computers.
Well, National Neighbor Works Week continues, a week-long event to give area residents and businesses the opportunity to get involved in their neighborhoods. And new tonight at 5:30, the National Insurance Task Force is hoping to implement an insurance partnership which would promote home safety. Today, insurance industry representatives from across the country took a bus tour of Utica, stopping off along the way to see some success stories of revitalization and plans for the future.
What we want to do here is promote home safety, make the communities in Utica more safe, while at the same time making a more profitable, insurable community for the insurance industry.
Strategy for our agency as well as our national affiliate, Neighborhood Reinvestment Corporation, to start building new partnerships with various businesses to help the revitalization and growth in neighborhoods and show that it's not just one entity, it's everybody working together that makes a difference in the neighborhoods.
And Neighbor Works Week ends tomorrow with a barbecue at the Home Ownership Center in Utica from 4:30 to 8 p.m. A portion of Grant Street will be closed to traffic, and it looks like they're going to have some nice weather for said barbecue. In fact, the weekend looks pretty stellar all in all, but I don't want to steal his thunder, so to speak. Mike Cameron's complete storm team forecast is straight ahead.
But first, lackluster retail sales in the month of May gave investors more reasons to doubt the strength of a business recovery. Checking the day on Wall Street now, a hit to technology companies has dragged the entire stock market lower. Let's take a look at the numbers as well as some stocks of local interest. Stay with us, we're coming right back.
This portion of WUTR Channel 20 News is brought to you by the Tenny Media Group.
Welcome back. Well, if you weren't too crazy about today's weather, the good news, some changes are coming our way.
That's right. You know, yesterday at this time we were talking about a tornado watch, but we were spared any severe stuff last night.
Well, we were here in the Mohawk Valley, but if you live to the south, and a lot of our viewers do, there was some pretty serious weather there. In fact, one of our sister stations in Syracuse, they have their own in-house radar, and they're able to scan inside those thunderstorms and see what they're doing in terms of movement. And a lot of those thunderstorms actually did have rotation, the beginnings of the formation of tornadoes.
Wow.
So really that was a serious situation yesterday, especially for Otsego and Chenango counties. In fact, in southern Chenango County, you really had a pretty big, almost Midwestern style, what we call a mezzo, or a big cloud that could form a tornado right through there. Very interesting stuff in the world of meteorology, but if you own property, probably not. Let's take a look at the numbers now. 61 degrees is the temperature, the dew point temperature 57, and the barometer is steady with easterly winds at 16 miles per hour. And of course, whenever you see an easterly wind, often, especially when it's bringing in moisture, that keeps the low clouds in here, and that's what we have at least through the evening hours. 55 degrees overnight tonight. We're expecting 46 as the skies do clear. And by tomorrow, we'll see a high of around 74, and we should see some more sunshine than we did today. That's going to be one of a string of nice days we've got coming our way. Here's the latest view of the clouds. A lot of clouds still involved with the same frontal boundary that brought all the severe weather yesterday. It had a tendency then to stall out in and across southern parts of New York and in through parts of New England, and that's where it stays now. And right along that front, still across parts of the mid-Atlantic, there's some severe weather. But overall, things have quieted down from the mid-Atlantic northward with the amount of severe weather that's occurring at this time. Cool air spilling in behind it has kept temperatures down too. So we've got the easterly wind and cool air coming in aloft. All of that has contributed to a mighty chilly day across the area today. Across much of the northeastern part of the country, in fact, has it been chilly. You can see a nice well of this green color here indicating temperatures in the 60s and even 50s. But you don't have to head too much farther to the west, and temperatures are well into the 80s to near 90 degrees. We will start to see some of this moving our way. But the thing is that overall, over the next several days, the pattern is going to be very slow to change. And for us, I think that's going to be beneficial because it's slowing down when high pressure is building in here, and that only means we'll have several days of relatively nice weather, including tomorrow. The forecast for where you live: Sylvan Beach, 74, Ava, 72, plenty of sunshine by afternoon. And as we head to the south of the valley, there, too, temperatures in the lower to middle 70s. South Edmonston, 72, with partly sunny skies for you as we head through time. Now, again, high pressure is going to be in control. That's why we'll have that mild day. It's going to keep the moisture out to sea and the moisture to the north and the west of us, so that's nice, and I think it's going to stay around for Saturday as well. And again, remember, Saturday's Relay for Life. It's going to be a nice day, I think, for all of you who will be out there walking and running the track. Temperatures in the upper 70s for Saturday with plenty of sunshine. And with that, too, we'll keep it on the dry side, so a comfortable warmth All of the heat and humidity will still stay to the west. Again, the pattern slowing down. We'll wait on the heat and humidity until probably early next week. So your forecast as we head through the rest of this evening, clouds will be breaking apart slowly, 55 degrees. And then overnight, 46, we'll have patchy fog by morning. Your day tomorrow is going to be a nice one. I think by afternoon we should see some sunshine and temperatures in the middle 70s. And taking a look at those next 7 days, you can see that Saturday, maybe a few more clouds in the sky for a little while, but I don't think it's going to be too big a deal. Temperature around 78. Sunday, 80 degrees with partly sunny skies, and Monday we'll do it again, partly sunny near 80. Again, the humidity comes in, that enters into the equation, perhaps some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon on Tuesday and Wednesday, but still summery, warm, and also there will be some sunshine in there. Of course, you can also get this forecast on 96.9 WOUR. Steve and Lisa.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike. Looks like a pretty good 4 days coming up.
Definitely, all 70s and 80s. Can't complain about that.
Not at all. All right, well, let's take a look at what our crews are working on for 6 o'clock. Most things have changed since September 11th, including practices with the Red Cross. Coming up, we'll hear from local representatives to see how they're revamping their fundraising.
And if you're an avid computer user, you may be setting yourself up for intrusion from hackers. Find out how to keep yourself safe in our consumer report. And you'll see how the Montreal mayor was greeted by one upset voter. It's all coming up next at 6 o'clock.
Still ahead at 5:30, the Mets look to leave Atlanta with at least one win over the first-place Braves. Chris Watson has the highlights and more coming up in sports.
You're watching WUTR, Channel 20 News, coverage you can count on. Thank you for making WUTR Channel 20 your choice for local news.
This portion of WUTR Channel 20 News is brought to you by Raymore and Flanagan.
This portion of WUTR Channel 20 News is brought to you by Ponderosa Steakhouse. Come on and get it.
The Mets try to leave Atlanta with a win and a game closer in the standings. Good evening, everyone. For those who thought the Braves' pitching was getting too old and the Mets would have the staff to challenge them, Atlanta would like to differ. Tom Glavine off to a 9-2 start to the season and a microscopic ERA of 1.64. He faced Jeff D'Amico in the series finale from Atlanta this afternoon. Mets looking for at least one win in this now shortened 3-game series. First inning, Mets strike first. Edgardo Alfonso on second. Mike Piazza out to right. That's an RBI double for Piazza, and the Mets have a 1-0 lead. Move to the second. We're tied at 1 now. Robbie Alomar back up the box. Ray Ordonez is in to score. Mets take a 2-1 lead on Atlanta. Fourth inning, still 2-1. Keith Lockhart at the plate, facing Jeff D'Amico. Deep to right, but Super Joe is out there. Joe McEwing with a great catch to Rob Lockhart. Mets still up 2-1. Now tied at 2 in the seventh. David Weathers on the hill, but he uncorks the wild pitch. Lockhart scores the game-winning run. Braves win 3-2. They sweep the 3-game set from the Mets. In the American League, the Yankees go for the split of their 4-game set with the Orioles tonight at the stadium. Mike Mussina throws for the Yanks. Rodrigo Lopez for the Birds. New York 3 games back of first-place Boston. Red Sox playing a day game this afternoon in Detroit against the Tigers. Pick it up in the fourth inning. No score. 1 on for Nomar Garciaparra, and he hits it deep to left, but inside the line and inside the wall. It's an RBI double. Shea Hillenbrand in to score. 1-0 Boston. Now 2-0 in the fifth. Jason Varitek out to left center field. Carlos Baerga in to score. Red Sox up 4-0. Robert Fick with a 3-run homer in the ninth, but Ugueth Urbina picks up the save. Red Sox win in Detroit 4-3. On the ice, Brian Trottier had a Hall of Fame playing career with the Islanders, and now he'll cross the lines in one of the most heated rivalries in all of sports. Trottier, the new head coach of the New York Rangers. In his playing days, he won 6 Stanley Cup championships, 4 with the Isles and 2 more with the Penguins. He becomes the Rangers' 5th head coach since 1997. That's the last time New York made the playoffs.
This is somewhat familiar territory. It wasn't always friendly territory, but it was always respected territory. I know from being on the other side, the Ranger fans demand and deserve a winner.
The Carolina Hurricanes will try to grab a 2-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup Finals tonight in Detroit. The Canes shocked the Red Wings in Game 1, winning Tuesday night 3-2 in overtime. Only once in Detroit's 10 Stanley Cup Final appearances have the Wings won the series when losing the first game. Detroit better figure out Canes goalie Arturs Urbe soon. He's 10-4 this postseason and 6-0 in overtime games.
I know these are so cliche, but we live by them one game at a time. Never think about the next day.
I want to go back to Carolina. We're down 2 games, so it's a game that we feel like we must win, but we know we have other lives. But we just feel we got to play better first and foremost.
On the hard court, the Nets were 20 minutes late to arrive for their first ever NBA Finals game, and as hard as they tried, they never really got back into the game after falling behind early against the Lakers. Nets trailed by as many as 23 points in the first half, but battled back in the second to cut the lead to 3 in the fourth quarter. Jason Kidd scored another triple-double, but it wasn't enough last night as the Nets fell 99-94 in Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Shaq and Kobe, if they get 50 to 55 points, close to 60 points, I can live with that because they're such great scorers. My main objective is to make sure the other guys don't hurt us. Rick Fox had 14 and 8. That hurt us last night. He had 5 offensive rebounds. That hurt us last night. You know, it wasn't that Robert Horry hurt us or Derek Fisher or any of those other guys, but, you know, I thought Fox was the one that really hurt us.
And finally, make sure you're with us tonight at 6. We'll introduce you to this week's Sports Overtime Outstanding Athletes. And once again, it's a pair of teammates. This senior duo from Clinton helped the Warriors win their first ever sectional championship. You'll meet them tonight at 6 o'clock. Well, that's going to do it for WUTR Channel 20 at 5:30. But don't you dare go anywhere. The news continues with Steve Osterhaus. It's 6 o'clock.